aggressive as BB is on his iconic champion, the Renekton, something that he's very comfortable on. But as a response, they lock in something like the Rise and the Aphelios that when it does come to range, I mean, I think the Aphelios outranges Xia.
Have to agree. We'll see what they kind of go for right now as we're jumping onto the Rift. That's what I love about being in, you know, other venues, is that there is no waiting, there is no delays. Because if there is delays, we can always just catch up on our own. The magic of technology and fast forwarding as we jump straight onto the Rift for game 1 of this best of 3. And it's like a Jinx cat cosplay. Oh no, maybe it was Kitty Katarina. I think it might have been Kitty Katarina.
Maybe.
I'm unsure on my skin lines as such, but jumping straight in, we're gonna have ourselves a nice one. And I will say, if WE can get ahead with this composition, like the Renekton as well, like you're gonna have such a hard time as Ultra Prime to really kind of deal with it. So I imagine with Ultra Prime, it is about kind of surviving the early stages and making sure they do not fall too far behind or fall prey to this Renekton Maokai combination.
Yeah, most definitely, but you do have to remind ourselves that he is up against someone like Doggo, where Renekton and Maokai, they have to play extremely careful with how they space and how they engage, because once you go in, you can't really go out. So the Xia pick, once again, seeing for the second series of the night, it did do extremely well in that first one, where she was picked as a counter, so I'm really wondering how pick order was. But Hope on something like the Aphelios, he is coming back into the meta because he's just such a versatile ADC, where he has the scaling and he also has the setup for these ganks. While paired with something like the Lulu, it doesn't matter because he has his Graviton and Hung can path towards his bottom side, although Renekton is going to need a bit of help in that top lane.
It's the cool thing about Xia and Aphelios. They can both be their own little bit of engages with their CC, Graviton ult, of course, the feathers flying and then coming back. It can be a fun one to see. As we wait to see now where the kind of like focus comes out from these junglers. We also see Ning on the Lee Sin, something he's exceptionally comfortable on, but nothing too crazy to be kind of coming out with at the moment as we wait to see where they kind of move forward with this particular game. And for Ultra Prime, getting Harry around this kind of Renekton could be key. If you can have a Jax even, who's able... A Jax! I don't know why I went like Link from Breath of the Wild. It's like, yeah! Anyway, you know, if he can get him going and very much kind of able to be his own little threat in a side lane, it becomes very difficult for WE to contain that. So curious to see where we see both these junglers prioritize. It looks like a full clear is going to be coming out for both sides, not really wanting to kind of interact with each other for the moment, which does favor, in my opinion, Hang on this Maokai a little bit more.
Yeah, they do part away from each other as both junglers start the red buff, but like you've been saying, Hung on this Maokai pick definitely want to be scaling comfortably into those items, as Ning on this Lee Sin definitely looking for some of those early game skirmishes, as you do want to be that duelist. But pathing towards Harry, I mean, he potentially could look for a dive if BB doesn't trade carefully, really see him being down. Bit of CS, although the wave is slowly building into the tower, but Hung already putting in some vision in this bottom side. If we do get Hope away, Hope ahead, he is looking like a very consistent carry once we do reach the late game.
Well, both junglers happy to take their scuttlebugs. I will say that full clear for the Ultra Prime jungler versus the almost full clear from the Maokai, as just able to drop down some wards, get some vision, back himself away, and there's going to be nothing too crazy to be kind of happening with this one here. But now, looking at these two sides, you can obviously kind of, it's going to be a little bit of a slower early game, I imagine, but looking at these two teams, these are two teams that are outside of the playoffs as of right now. Team WE 4 and 7, sitting at 12th, and Ultra Prime 3 and 8. But it's what makes this match a little bit more interesting. As I think Heng got all of those minions there, or almost all of them. So nicely there done for him. But it's why it makes this game a little bit more important, a little bit more potent, because if WE win, they broaden that gap between themselves and the likes of Ultra Prime versus Ultra Prime, who would be able to kind of really bring themselves forward, as we see a little bit of a move, flashback. Bew does get hit by the Sonic Wave, does end up getting a stun down onto Ning, who takes a huge chunk of damage himself. Has got a blue buff here on either jungler, but neither willing to kind of fully commit to what is happening right now. There's kind of covering both their top laners, and I will say, definitely feel like it is WE have come out the better of this particular trade, and don't want to fully commit just yet. You can see that Heng is holding that the CC very, very nicely, as we can see. Oh, speaking of CC, Baolan lands a 2-man, but they're going to force the cleanse out of both the AD carries. Hope moving forward, flash for flash. Oh, they wanted to be their own engages, and that's going to be Doggo falling down. Baolan flashes away just to save his own hide, but we talked about how both these AD carries can be their own engages, and they tried to do just that.
Hope just knew, he predicted the flash from Doggo and perfectly dodges with his own flash, and that does mean a kill into the hands of the AD carry of WE. Plays across all around the map. We did expect the two junglers to be pathing towards that top lane, which won't happen here, but Balan just lands a double stun with his W, as WE didn't really play with their strength as they have the range. But Doggo getting a little bit too greedy, and Hope reacts perfectly with this shuriken as well, so Doggo falls as a response. I mean, Xia, you can't be getting too behind. Hope is definitely someone that can snowball off just these tiny leads as First Blood goes into his pockets.
A lot of summoners blown. Just like Wandy left with his flash in that bot side, and WE, great start for them, getting this Aphelios ahead. And look, you are against two hyper-scaling AD carries. The Xia and the Aphelios both do exceptionally well, but to get that extra early lead, it does mean that at the moment it is a difference between Boots and a Doran's Blade, comparatively to the High Noon Quiver. As we can see, everyone's got a gathering around right now. I don't know if Ultra Prime want this in a flash, but a flash is too late from Ning, and they're going to try and burn him down. They can't quite get Shanks to get the CC down. Moon Prison does not get comboed up, so it's only a slow onto Ching. But again, more and more summoners being blown as the LPL kind of faithful see a little bit of a bloodbath brewing. Both teams very willing and able to push forward and get some advantages, even if it costs some summoners.
I love this game already. Absolute chaos ensuing for the first 6 minutes, but we need to notice that Hung did go for the Hex Flash. No flash available for Ting.
He might be in a lot of trouble. He has no flash. He has nowhere to go. They want to donate this one over to the Shanks Rise Fund, and they will do just that. So despite Ultra Prime gaining control over the river, a great roam there from Bew means that WE come out with another kill.
We do see the replay of what happened just now with the Dragon Brawl, as this stun lands onto the rest of the team of W, so no follow-up from Hung flash engaging, as even Shanks did commit the flash, but he just comboed a little bit too slow, where Ning got out by the slightest of timing. But in the end, this Dragon is going to go into the hands of WE, and once again, I need to highlight that Hung has this Hex Flash available, which is something that we don't see very often. So it's very surprising, as it does spicing up the game just a little bit.
Again, more and more pressure coming in. The carries of WE getting some nice kills here. Very well kind of set up for themselves into this mid-game, which is exactly where they want to be. Harry getting some nice trade back in this top side, as he's been able to have a little bit of free time. Not a huge amount, but, you know, every little helps. There's Hope. You know what? I'm put that in
the camera just shouldn't be put on the screen. Sometimes you just miss out on that.
I was going to say, I put that in the category of you miss all the shots you don't take. And unfortunately, you sometimes really miss the shots you do take. So a bit unfortunate there for Hope, but it was by himself. So even just having the ultimate there in general to sway and all in was nicely set up for him there. Now, Ching knows that there's a Maokai around, so should just be fine to back himself away. Wandy shows himself on the wave as well, as both teams now starting to prioritize their setup and their vision around this this Baron Pit, which is housing the Rift Herald. So, bit of a late back from Hope. He will be late to this party and has no Moonlight Vigil. Remember, he didn't whiff it in that bot side. How could we forget? And now we wait to see where both these teams want to go.
Yeah, we need to also really remind the audience that Hung has successfully reached level 6 without dying once in his own jungle, so that is an overall massive dub for the side of WE. Now Herald is going to get threatened, but with the Maokai ultimate available, it is just so much CC, as Beauty is going to rotate early. He is going to sack another wave just in case. They really want to secure this. Balan has the flash available very soon, so W need to play very carefully with their positioning.
Yeah, no flash on Ning, so no flash kick to be had right now. There's the ultimate. Oh, it's perfect. It's catching on to everybody. Shanks will fall, but so does the Annie, as you can see there. Look at Hope. He's untouched. He's just burning through these health bars. Eventually, they turn them back around. The Unleashed Power was good enough for one kill to trade back, but a 1-for-1, and the Rift Herald goes in favor of WE. And this is just kind of seeing similar signs that we've seen from WE. They get a lead, and they are able to kind of keep pushing, keep gaining momentum, and keep putting down pressure on Ultra Prime.
And once you give that lead to Hope, they are going to snowball that tiny lead into something huge in the gold graphs. A 2-for-1 trade in the very end where this Maokai ultimate just put in so much work and Ultra Prime weren't able to kite around it and fell as a victim. With the flashes available, however, so it just wasn't really a fight that you wanted to take because you didn't have prior setup. That's something that's so good about Maokai, where once you do have the original control, well, you can't really walk in as you also have the saplings to play around from the dot bush. We're gonna see this replay once again. The stun does land from Shanks where he dies instantly, but not Zeri, but Ning jumps in as well and he gets focused down instantly, and he also doesn't die, but the Herald in the end still goes into the hands of WE. We're at the scoreline 5-1 now, and Doggo trying to scrap up some returning plates as Hope got 4.
I mean, the scary thing about that whole play is, like you mentioned, of course, the kill going over to Hope, but also not only that, but as we see maybe a bit of an engage. He's on the flank right now. This is the flanking Lulu is the dangerous one. Doggo will have flash available if he wants to use it, but he doesn't have it. Doesn't have to use it just yet. I was going to say the AD carries being their own initiation tools right now, as Hope is using that Gravitum to very good effect. It's twice now we've seen almost summoners burned here on this bot side because of Hope having great usage of that ultimate.
We did see the flanking Lulu trying her best, but unfortunately not enough, as Hope does get the bottom lane of Ultra Prime pretty low.
Here we go.
Hung is also going to continue by ulting here, but Ning is just here to block that ultimate and really diffuse this dive, just in case. We do have the Realm of available from Shanks, so if this play and they want to continue it, could potentially be a 4v3.
Mayhaps. There's more plates gonna be in the call right now, and honestly this is great for WE because not only are you kind of forcing Ning to just kind of babysit this bot side, but he's also, one, taking experience, and two, he's not affecting any of the other maps. We have a little bit of a replay here. I think it's actually just oh wait, this is the kill. Wait, when did that happen?
Ning
when
died?
did that kill happen? I did notice we came back to 1 and 5 rather than 1 and 4, but Bubu was bot side and he got himself a kill. He's now 2-0 and 2.
Bubu
I didn't
is
even
the
notice
jungler.
that.
He has 4 KP out of 5, and Hope picking up another play in this bottom lane. This Aphelios is getting ridiculously strong once he backs. I mean, the dragon is going to be spawning in 10 seconds. The Aphelios hasn't backed and reset just quite yet with the amount of gold he's collected, so Xayah is going to have that Gale Force advantage. So W need to remember this, as the ADC is lacking in terms of mythic items.
I mean, just such good control right now from WE, and I'm loving the aggressive pathing we're seeing out from Bubu as well. I'm loving the fact that he's going out saying, cool, I know where I need to go, I know where I need to be, I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna win against this Jack, so there's no real reason for me to try. I'm just gonna try and make advantages elsewhere. And speaking of advantages elsewhere, that's the second Drake now coming over to WE, because they have total control over this bot side. It is a 3,000 gold lead. A lot of that belongs to that top lane and mid lane combination between CS and kills. There's a fair chunk of gold now between these solo laners.
It is so scary to see an Aphelios and Ryze bottom side to be getting these dragons online early, because that's something you don't expect with the Annie and Lee Sin for this Game 1 draft. You would expect this, but in the favor of Ultra Prime. So there are now 2 dragons down, also around that 3k gold lead. I mean, Xing is going to try and push in this wave, but he doesn't know Hung is behind him.
Oh, he does now. Now he knows the rest of the team are coming in. Xing may have to use his flash here to try and get over the wall.
Where
He does, and he has got a
going?
blast going. I don't know where he's going to go.
TP?
Far, far away. He does have a TP and should be able to keep himself up and alive. So does lose both his summoners, but gets himself out to safety. So important to note there that WE did make a move on the bot side. It meant that the Dominus had to be popped in the top lane, but doesn't mean anyone goes down. And again, more and more pressure coming out. Great kind of usage of the fact that you have got Hope to be able to kind of push in this mid lane, make sure that doesn't take any more damage. And honestly, I think Shanks has got this bot lane no problem.
Yeah, the great thing about that play for the side of WE is that no one actually died on the other side. They didn't really lose too much, although hard forcing it with the Realm Orb and, of course, the roots from Maokai. Shanks also picks up this tier 1 bottom tier tower, which does open up the map a lot more and apply side lane pressure. This is exactly what we want from a Ryze, where you want to be proactive with the Realm Orb, making plays on the side lane. Definitely want to be cheating tempo, as Hope just safely scales in this middle lane with that cleanse available as well.
Oh. As the ultimate's coming out, just to do a little bit of damage there. Doggo will get CC'd up and takes another chunk of health onto him. Baolan with the extra bit of shielding to save him from a little bit of that fate, but again, great work here from WE. They're dictating where and when everything is happening. It's very much a response, you would imagine, from Ultra Prime as they're being reactive. They're really trying to see if they can be a bit more... I would love to see them be a bit more aggressive, but it's hard against this composition. Very hard to run into things like a Maokai, a Rise, or an Ecton. They just have so many ways of dealing with you, and you just can't really risk that kind of, all-in engage if you know it's not going to 100% work out for you.
Yeah, it really is tough, especially with the Annie support being locked in first for the side of Ultra Prime here on out, as we really just expect this Annie to be flashing off cooldown every time she does have the Tibbers available and get those picks one by one. However, this early game, very quiet performance from the bottom lane of Ultra Prime, trying to look for at least some vision as his Herald is spawning, but every ultimate online, cleanses are available, but Xing does not have his flash, so he has to be playing extra carefully.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing right now. We're going to see a TP that's going to go straight in onto the mid lane, or just above it, as we can see BuBu finally joins in. Has got almost a full rage bar. Top lane goes down in favor of WE as Ultra Prime are losing their advantages right now. There's going to be a good ultimate coming in. They're trying to burn down on the Baolan, and he goes down. Ning can't really find the engage. Doggo trying to put down the feathers, but he's still not quite got the damage. Remember, he's still only one item. Would love to be on that second one. The Navori Quick Blades just adds in so much power as BuBu. Oh, we're going to see Harry trying to jump in on the backside here. Jumps on the Hope, but it's actually the Syndra who falls without a flash, without a Hope. And without a prayer, Iwandi is sacrificed as he gave his life to make sure that Hope could survive. Now BuBu and Shanks just kind of being corralled away. The health bars are definitely in favor of Ultra Prime right now. And with Baolan coming in as well, you can see the wave clear is fantastic from Shanks, even this late in the game. BuBu moves forward, as you can see Harry trying to see if he can make something work. But look at the damage! Shanks almost takes him out. Never mind, he does take him out. And now they're going to try to see Hang moving forward. Nearly gets the kill, but ends up paying for it with his life. Doggo stays alive with an extra little bit of shielding from the Annie. It ends up being a very scrappy affair, but all in all, it is WE who are still coming out on top.
That was a 1 minute fight, Oshin. Baolan got instantly killed from the Maokai ultimate, just suffocating the side of Ultra Prime. He walked back and the fight was still happening in the mid lane, where Hope realized that this fight was not stopping, so he had to rejoin. But Harry desperately trying to get his hands on some extra kills, but he just wasn't able, as Holmes defused that immediately. This Maokai ultimate is just so oppressive when it comes to these major objective fights, as everyone was just dying in the chokes, where even the Graviton was used as Baolan flashes as defensively and dies, but you're just so squishy as that Annie support. Harry also finding really good stun angles onto the backline of WE, but this was just a trade onto the Lulu, while your Syndra died without that flash available from early on. And in the end, it's still WE having that Herald, having all these kills online, and Hope still staying deathless.
We come back, 10 seconds till the Dragon, so we're going to have another fight. But this time around, look at all those summoners. Everyone except for Ching has not got a flash. The only reason Ching has his because he lost it beforehand, so didn't have it to use effectively as we come back into live. And now could see another engagement coming in. You haven't got everything stacked up here onto Shanks. He's still waiting for his Seraphs. He's still waiting for his fully set up Rod of Ages, so not in the most ideal of positions in terms of the potential he could have. But nevertheless, both teams start to push their way forward into this river, and I feel like for Ultra Prime, you need this Dragon. You need to stop the Hex Tech Soul point from going over, because of the next fight, I don't think you can.
But Hope's weapon is so good. The green and white, so if he's able to really kite out the side of Ultra Prime.
Oh,
Harry trying to look for a flank onto Shanks.
Yeah, they're looking for a flank on the Shanks, but BuBu actually gets knocked up by the Dragon. He popped his Dominus, which meant he couldn't do anything, but Ning has been caught, and Shanks is dealing with 4 members of Ultra Prime. He's just pushing them away, saying, you cannot kill me. There's just no way you can get that kind of value without Ning as well. This is guaranteed to be sole point now for the side of WE, and that was so weirdly chaotic. It was a comedy of errors, but it's still WE who come out on top.
4,300 damage dealt by this Rise in the matter of seconds. This is quite literally the first time I've ever seen a Rise pick being utilized so perfectly, as he is tossing out that damage with only 2 items. Nothing offensive, only defensive. But in the hands of Shanks, it just looks like a completely different champion, and they're just suffocating the side of Ultra Prime as they're desperately trying to get their hands onto this lonely Rise that was running by himself. But without the amount of damage, and just look at Shanks playing Ultra Prime into his own hands, he does doesn't also die with the Sarah's shield coming in as well. Just not enough damage from Doggo. And this third dragon in the hands of WE with a scaling composition. Ultra Prime definitely feeling the pressure now.
Yeah, I mean, I will say Shank's extraordinarily fortunate. I believe his Seraphs upgraded as he was hitting the last combination or two. So it was still stacking until that dragon fight. So yeah, absolutely 100% calculated. But you know, that is how the cookie crumbles. You got to be very aware because again, that's not a hidden stat. That's not a timer that you have to time. You can see the stacks yourself on the scoreboard. So Ultra Prime calculating it, but miscalculating which values they needed. And now WE with 3 dragons, 5,000 gold in the lead. They are starting to smell victory in their sights. And look, they need this as well. They don't only do they need the W, but being on the kind of 9th to 12th scale of the playoffs kind of standings, they need game wins. They need to make sure they're not just dropping to a single, you know, 2-1s or anything like that. And anytime they do lose, they need to make sure it's a 1-2 because they're sitting at -7 right now in the standings. So they are still very much going to be forcing themselves to try and catch up with the likes of Billy, RNG, you know, on the +1s and -3s of the kind of composition, because even if it comes down to the later stages in the tournament, in the later stage of the split, those game differences can make the difference.
Yeah, Ultra Prime on a 6-game loss streak where they haven't found a single series win just quite yet. They do have some of the messiest games when we do approach the LPL games, as they just struggle to clean out the later stages. And it's all up to Doggo, honestly. Once Doggo is given something that is a hyper carry that is going to scale, Shing's going to get interrupted here.
Yeah, but Ning... Oh no!
1D, buddy.
I thought maybe Heng was able to get the flash over the wall. They could have, you know, gotten the twisted advance off, but wasn't to be, and that means that Ning ends up keeping his flash and his life. Also stops the Realm War from happening up towards that top side, and now the kind of pressure they put in towards that top lane, mid lane is under siege. They don't know if they're going to be able to fully confirm it just yet. Should see a Maokai ultimate to really stop anybody from gaining anything else from this. Put a TP on the back end of this fight. There's going to be the ultimate there. It only lands onto Ning, who does not have his kick just yet. He's still waiting for it. Ning is so low. Put a flash forward. They're going to catch his power, land, and immediately jump onto Dogger, who has to flash away. Straight off the bat, it is only 1 kill, but look at the summoners that had to be burned. Great heads-up play there from WE.
This is so scary. You're just walking with the dark alleyway and you turn the corner and you see Bubu just lurking with that TP flank play. Now it's going to be the Baron into the hands of WE. Just very successful skirmishes as they always get 1 pick. Balan on this Annie is not working out very well, as you have to be the proactive players. You have to be the aggressors. But if you play into the hands of WE, I mean, this is the game state now.
This is the game state, and it's not a pretty one if you're an Ultra Prime fan. Look at this one there, because again, they look to try and get the turret. You're never going to get that in a million years, and I just don't see the reason why you want to try and go for this. You haven't cleared out your jungle, and yeah, great flank.
Ning was just 1 HP, and BB just shreds everyone in the backside of Ultra Prime. Definitely very tough game state, as no one does damage to these frontliners of WE, and Hung having an excellent game on the Maokai, definitely getting stuff done on the map. Also Dragon spawning in 40 seconds, no ultimate, no flash from Doggo, definitely going to be very tough. Balan also not having those summoners means he has to play a little bit defensive.
I mean, no anything for Doggo. Even the Gale Force still on cooldown. He might just have it back up by the time this Dragon starts, but the stopwatch picked up here by Ching means that he knows that this next fight could be the final and most decisive. If you give over a Hex Soul this early, 24 minutes into the game, I just don't see how you can come back from that. Shanks already building up towards his 3rd item in this game. You have got the Void Staff, so again, Ching has got significant damage if he can land it on the right target. It has to be on the Hope, but when you've got something like a Lulu to hand, it just becomes so much more difficult to make that damage stick.
Yeah, most definitely. Also with the cleanse available for Hope, it's definitely going to be very tough, as Harry has had an excellent game so far, no deaths, but when you are put in a situation where it is going to be the Hex Soul being pressured by WTP from Harry.
Bubu though on a flank. They don't want the dragon, they want the fight. They know they want the fight, and they've caught everyone like spiders waiting for flies to walk into their web. They have pounced straight away, and it's just a massacre right now. Shanks cleans up the AD carry. Harry trying to run away as best he can, but you shall not escape. You shall be beaten down by the tree, and that is a full clean ace for WE and the Hex Soul.
A 5-for-0 trade and the Hextech Soul in the hands of WE. Now Shanks level 15. Hope also 2 items up. Oh, not 2, but 1. This map state, I mean, they're just gonna pressure the towers of Ultra Prime. That was their last chance to find a successful fight, as Harry was the last standing hero, but even he fell as a result. And this game, 3-15, 10k gold lead. I don't know what Ultra Prime can do to come back, but all of the replay is just Bubu finding these beautiful flanks onto the enemy team. Or even Shanks joins in for the party, but all these AoE damage from the side of WE just meant no one on Ultra Prime could really tank anything, as everyone just instantly got so low, and there's just no hope as you are 2 behind in items now.
I mean, it's just so difficult now for Ultra Prime. I don't see this game lasting much longer. They may not lose on this push, but against the Hex Soul, Baron is just going to rear off now in 5 seconds as he get 4,500 gold off of this Baron power play. Is Hang, he wants to end the game now. He gets kicked back. Nice little sidesteps there for my Wandy and Shanks, but 3 items now onto the rise. He is firmly in control of where he is and what he can do. Very difficult. Look at his health bar. He has more health than the Renekton right now. He is just so tanky just to be able to stand in front of people and just put out insane amounts of DPS.
We love Roa meta, but despite that, Harry's still trying to apply some side lane pressure when it is looking a little bit tough, as you don't win the 5v5, so it's your last standing hope. The TP not available for the Jax either, so Ultra Prime really need to play carefully as they allow Harry to scale into these side lanes. I mean, I think Ultra Prime, they were just way too overstepped in some of those situations, not allowing Harry to have a free side as they played into the hands of WE, and that really resulted in all this gold lead from the early game.
Look, you're going to need more than a Hail Mary or 2 to bring this one back for yourselves as Ultra Prime. But Ning, he's looking for it right now. Puts himself long down field, but without a flash available, there's going to be it. They're going to catch out onto the 80 carry, and Hope is dead. There is going to be Shanks TPing in immediately, already putting down serious work on the Baolan, and there's 2 kills. Look, I'm saying that miracles aren't a common thing, but sometimes they can happen, and Ultra Prime find themselves 2 very swift kills. I feel like they didn't need to TP Shanks in there at all.
Yeah, Shanks definitely instant regret button after he TP'd in, even tried ulting out, just trying to undo the actions that he's just... Oh, Balan died to a W. I mean, Lulu Q.
Oh,
definitely.
and the tower, yeah.
The tower also
And that's a change of the setup. Now Bubu with the dominance, trying to see if he can catch. There's 2 people caught, though. And immediately Ching has to use that stopwatch, not able to get himself away as Bubu starts to tear through everybody else. Doggo, you have nowhere to go. You've got flash, but is it really worth it? He says no. Double kill goes over to Bubu, and what could have been a nice little opportunity for Ultra Prime to scale out the game, maybe even look for something with the, you know, with the scaling Jax, is just completely shut down.
They got so desperate after a winning fight for the side of Ultra Prime, where they forgot that Bubu wasn't matching the Jax in the side, as was in fact trying to force something in the middle play, and that is going to end up as a 3-for-0, as Balan did get executed by the tower earlier. But that does also mean the Baron spawning in 20 seconds. This inhibitor falls. You most likely have to be just clearing out the minions and looking for that mid party. But Harry's still trying his little heart out to get to that level 16. He is already level 16 now. Hopefully we get some bonks in soon.
I mean, he needs he needs a 3rd item. You can see him got a Hearthstone. He's got the makings of what I imagine is a Frozen Heart. He's trying his hardest right now to make sure he can do it. I will say, you are 3 items now onto Ching, so despite losing the stopwatch in the last one, has his Zhonya's to fully replenish it, and 3.5 items onto the Xayah. So there is a world in which the Ultra Prime team fight can come together, but you are very much relying on Baolan with a Flash Tibbers onto multi-man WE. That's what you need right now, and it's so difficult. We talked about how WE's draft just lends itself for kiting backwards. The Lulu, the Maokai, the Rise, so many ways of just kind of pushing it back as Ning loses about half his HP from a Q combo of Hope. Bubu is looking for a flank, hasn't been spotted out just yet, and is just going to go back down towards his bot side. And despite Harry kind of having the side lane pressure and definitely in the advantage in that regard, 5-0-6 in this Renekton makes him so much scarier now. Baron has been started. It looks like they're going to try and burn this one down, and burn it down they will. They're looking to see if they can get anything. No real vision right now. Now they know what's been going on, but Shanks is on a flank. Shanks does have flash. He may look to try and flash into someone else. TP for TP. They're trying to get it away now as everyone kind of joins in. Again, look at the poke coming out from this Hex Soul. It's just giving so much more value to the side of WE, and they've got the inside track. You can see Ultra Prime, they're unsure as to what they want to do. Hang has to flash away just in case he maybe got caught out there, but you may lose the game. They have to use the Hex traits, but they can't because they just got stopped by a Stappling. Now they can jump straight onto Doggo, who was the only one to get it. Now the rest of his team's trying to jump in onto this. Shanks gets himself over the wall, and he kills off the AD carry. It's all over the place right now, Kitty. It's completely separated. It's completely and utterly done for the side of Ultra Prime. You don't have your AD carry. You don't have a chance in hell. And it's another clean ace as WE's pressure just proves too much.
A 4v5 while Hope gets the middle inhibitor as the fight collapses for the side of Ultra Prime. Desperately trying to find an angle for at least a pick, but WE knew this exactly, and they are going to just play Ultra Prime and end this game one into their favor. An excellent early game as they never dropped a single misplay other than, you know, Shanks doing the undo button from that round one.
We'll allow one. Everyone gets one. But yeah, great control here from WE. And this is a kind of a team that kind of a similar mindset to me as OMG earlier, is that they are a team that has kept the majority of their rosters most of the time. This particular year, they obviously made quite a few changes coming into this